and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's cHB, the one in best of one, and today in the arena we are playing competitive historic brawl Jacob Hauken Inspector. Yes, you're right, it's not Friday, it's Saturday. We did historic brawl yesterday, but the videos are doing so well. Thank you for that, by the way, everybody watching the historic brawl videos and enjoying them, watching every second, watching to the end. You guys are very cool. Thank you. It's letting me take more, like, I can do the thing I really want to do and I can do more of it. So we're going to do historic brawl maybe for the weekend, at least two. I've got two decks that I feel good about, and I only want to share with you my favorite decks, not just a deck to do a deck, as I often behind the scenes, I often in standard don't really love the deck I'm playing, but I'm playing it because I treat it as a job. I am very serious about being there for you guys and making content for you every day. But in historic brawl, I basically make a video for a deck I really like, and I have two this week. The first you saw yesterday. The second is Jacob Hauken Inspector. And while this is another blue commander, and you might think, oh god, I saw Teferi yesterday, more counter spells, oh god. That's not really what Jacob Hauken Inspector is all about. I would call this a blue gamer's toilet deck, in that it's very much a Timmy blue. It's more of a ramp deck than a traditional blue deck. Oh, it's still going to tilt you in some very blue ways because blue is absurdly good in historic brawl. But this is a deck that aims to cheat out Omniscience, Ulamog, Jin-Gitaxias, and other just monster spells of that nature. You see the 10 drops, there's 3 of them hanging out right here, just waiting for you to play them. And the way that it works is you use Jacob Hauken Inspector's ability, and then as soon as you have 6 mana to pay into that ability, you flip into Hauken's Insight, a legendary enchantment. This lets you cast 1 spell for free on your turn. That means that you can play the Ulamog for free and get the cast trigger. That means you can play the Omniscience for free, and now everything is free. That means you can play Jin-Gitaxias for free and draw 7 cards on your end step. That is nuts! And that is what this deck is all about trying to do. There's a few ways to build Jacob Hauken Inspector. You can build a traditional blue control deck. The biggest thing that's kind of bad about that is if you have a counterspell exiled with Hauken's Insight, you can't use it unless the opponent walks into it on your turn. It's not very good. So the deck doesn't run a ton of counterspells. If it were too reliant on them, the actually flipping into Hauken's Insight wouldn't be that good, because every time you exile a counterspell, it's like a whiff, and it's already a whiff when you exile land. So it's not great. You can still play lands off this, just to be clear. It's just not great. So less counterspells. The other thing that you can do is have a ton of cards that protect Jacob Hauken. This is, like counterspells, pretty awkward, because then once you flipped into the Insight, the protection spells have nothing to protect, and when you exile them with the Insight or draw them off the top of your deck, they do nothing. And you can still lose those games if you're just drawing blanks, if you're just doing nothing. So what we wanted is a pretty proactive deck, and we turned it into mostly a ramp deck. The idea is this: you play Hauken on turn 2. Maybe the opponent doesn't interact with it, and you get to flip it for the 6 mana. Or maybe they kill it. If they kill it, that's fine. We're just going to ramp. We're going to play all kinds of ramp artifacts and all kinds of ramp artifacts and all kinds of ramp artifacts. And we're just going to eventually cast our big 6, 7, and 10 drops for their cost. We don't need our commander necessarily to do it. It's the best way to do it, but we don't need it. We'll usually play this on turn 2. If the opponent kills it, we'll play it on turn 4. If they kill it again, we'll just start casting our big spells, paying the mana cost for them, which is totally fine. Blue has a sneaky amount of ways also to deal with things. Since we're not running as many counterspells as the typical blue deck, we need to answer threats. However, blue has a lot of cool ways to answer threats in this commander-ish format of historic brawl. Witness protection style effects, turning things into, basically type loses all abilities in your search bar, and you'll see all these cards. These auras are incredibly good at shutting down creature commanders and very tilting for opponents to deal with because they lose the abilities. So we have a lot of them. Frogify, Transmutation, Mystic Subdual. Like, I don't even know the names of most of these cards because they're just draft stuff to me until these days. I mean, probably the biggest one here is Morphosis. It turns it into a fish. Cool. So we've got a lot of that type of effect to keep the opponent off balance. The other best way to deal with the opponent who is trying to beat us down is steal their stuff, especially their commander. So we've got cards like Tempted by the Auric and cards like Invoke the Winds. We use these instead of cards like Mass Manipulation and Entrancing Melody because those spells have X in their cost, and spells with X in their cost aren't good when you cast them with Hauken's Insight, because X will be for 0. So we wanted spells that don't have a lot of X's in their cost, and as you can see looking through the deck list, there just aren't many. But then when you get to the top end of the deck, there are so many cards that when you cast them for free are absurd. Just absolutely absurd. It is very much a ramp deck. It is a blue Timmy deck. It reminds me, honestly, of Tooth and Nail, something like that. One of those kind of old school ramp decks. And yeah, where else can you play mono blue and have a turn 4 Omniscience or Ulamog? Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, Jin Gitaxis, are you ready to be on the same team for one day? I think you guys are really going to enjoy this. Today's patron shout out goes to Lucid Optimist. Thank you very much for joining at the shout out tier. Also paid for a year up front, which is a cool way to save yourself money, but also support me in advance, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you would like to get a shout out in a video or check out other benefits, patreon.com/covertgoblue, or check out the link in the description. Now let's dive in. Let the competitive historic brawl nonsense begin. Krenko. Yes. Ah, the Omniscience. The Omniscience against the Krenko. The rest is just mana rocks. But this is turn 3, like turn 4. Yeah, we're moving pretty fast in this hand. So let's see if the opponent has a shock for the Hauken. Goro. Okay. So this makes 2 mana here. We play it. Then we tap Jacob and the Relic. And this is how we get the turn 4 Omniscience, potentially. It's right there for the taking. Go ahead, play a Goblin. Do it. I dare ya. Also, it would be awesome to draw some kind of a card draw effect so that we can just go infinite off the Omniscience. But I'll settle. Okay, then. Okay. Sometimes Magic just loves you. I'm gonna hold this because we don't need to play it right away. We have another turn here. We might draw Seagate Restoration. Counterspell. Okay, that's actually bad. And it looks like the train's gonna stop for a minute. I want to save one of these for the Krenko. You're like, we have a counterspell for that Krenko. And I'm like, yeah, but we don't, because this we can't cast on our opponent's turn. This we can power up and block. Let's pass. We didn't get to completely go enter the infinite and pop off, but we're set up to. That's nice. Come at me, bro. Okay. No, not an Abrade. Okay, well, it happens. So the Goblins want to fight back. They didn't Abrade my Midnight Clock, did they? They're also not playing Krenko this turn if they play that Abrade. It's interesting. It does make sense. The last card in my hand is probably a counterspell or a land based on what happened. Is that another... Oh, come on. No way. Wizards, you call this random? I feel like you've chosen your victor. that was... Jodah. We play Jodah against Jodah. This hand is perfectly fine, totally reasonable. They're gonna hate it. Jodah's still probably the most popular commander at the moment, and I still haven't seen many builds that scare me. There's a lot of ramp out there, and then they try to play Jodah, and then they try to play a big spell and get their cascade effect, and it happens so rarely, man. It's just not a thing that happens much. All right. Pretty much every game we're going to slam this card on turn 2. We'd need like the opponent with open red mana or something to scare us off it. Cartographer Survey. Look at the top 7. Put 2 land cards. Only got 1. What a classic ramp spell in Arena, huh? All right. What do we do? Let's start by seeing all our options. We have a Celestis. We can ramp this turn. That's really good. Yeah, let's set up the clutches. Let's play the ramp. Let's hold up the opt. Say go. They might play Jodah. If we find a land, we get to steal it. If we don't, we turn it into a frog. Either way, I'm not afraid. Land. We're just trying to make sure we hit land. Just over here, trying to be a player who draws land. There you go. Now what? Frogify the Jodah? Then we still can't ramp, but we can hold up either Archmage's Charm, which if we draw 1 more land, we get to flip next turn. Let's drop the Whirler Rogue. Not really the matchup for it. And let's not Frogify. Let's just yoink. Fine. Now I have a 2/4. I like them apples. I have your commander. And that's the game. I mean, we have 2 ways to frogify the commander, and the commander is Niv. So, yes. Yeah, we keep this. Don't expect Jacob to get to flip anytime soon. It's going to be a long grind through probably a lot of counter and removal spells. But you go for it. Make them stop it. Okay, currently unstopped. Could go for the Oracle. I think we try to ramp first. Just assume they have nothing. Brazen Borrower, sure. Why not? All right, let's get rid of lands. We have enough of them. Their hand must be interesting. They don't appear to have removal, and so far they haven't had counters. So let's see if they counter this. Mystic Reflection. Next time a non-legendary creature, choose a non-legendary creature. Oh, you're choosing you. Enter the battlefield as a copy. Okay. I now have an Ornithopter of Paradise. I see why they think that's good for them. I don't really care. Jacob is sweet and all, but this just helps me cast my creatures. Are you going to glow this way the whole time? Yep. I mean, Ornithopter of Paradise, just more mana to cast my awesome spells. If you had imprisoned him in the moon, I'd feel the same way. Opponent, you didn't do anything. Somebody tell the opponent they didn't do anything. So, if I play Immortal Sun, do they counter it? It's definitely the best play I can make, but with them missing land drops, I feel like I'm supposed to try to draw out something, some kind of action from them. So I'm going to attack with this, and then I'm going to play this. Guess I'll go ahead and play the Mox and the land, so we have plenty of mana. And then we'll put pressure on their life total. There you go. Counter that. There you go. Look, they did nothing. Wow. Let's see. What did they exile? Need to get this exiled. Maybe they'll dissipate it and then I can use Karn to get it back. Maybe not. But we go for it. Dissipate. Exile it. Opponent, somehow. Or just let it resolve. That's fine too. I'm not complaining about that. Yeah. Yeah, you draw 3. that card works. That card is good. You don't need to worry too much about it though. I'm tapped out. You want to slam your Niv? And by Niv I mean yo frog. I mean, I guess you're still a dragon wizard in your heart. This seems good. Okay, bye. Sad dragon. Yasharn. Just going to introduce every commander in Street Fighter voice. Yasharn. Yeah, so I don't think that affects us too much. We can't sacrifice, say, the Hedron archive to draw cards, but for the most part, I don't think that will mess with us. Probably the type of opponent we're looking for, to be honest. We start out with a star pupil, enters the battlefield with a counter. Is it a +1/+1 counters deck with Yasharn as commander? Bag of holding. What's with all these 1-drops? They're on the play and they have 3 1-drops? In Historic Brawl? That's insane. Who does that? My god. The curve on this one. So, the way that this works is if I move this back to the command zone, when this dies, I don't get the creature. But that's okay. I don't have a lot of ways to kill it. Alright, we'll just ramp the hard way since you insist on not letting us have commander. Do they have green? Dude, their draw. 1-drop, 1-drop, 1-drop. Removal spell / creature commander. Alright. It's gonna be that way. Can't wait to see what they do on turn 5. Baneslayer Angel or something? Planeswalker? Alright, let's drop the Hedron. We're trying to go the distance here, guys. If we can drop some Lay Claim or some Gear Hulk, we can start doing really powerful things. Maybe we can overcome all of this. Conclave Mentor. That doubles +1/+1 counters. So it's like a +1/+1 counter deck. I don't know, man. It's like they have a sub-theme. I think my favorite thing about their deck so far, and this probably doesn't surprise anyone who knows me, I love the Bag of Holding to turn the plains and the forests into other cards. That little bit of value. I love it. So what do you think? Are they just going to disenchant Lay Claim? They're just going to be like, ha! I was totally prepared for that, you foolish cHB. Let's find out. One way to find out. Wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. 7 mana. 1 mana Snakeskin Veil. Even gets double counters. Come on, dude. This is the ultimate high roll of a Yasharn +1/+1 counter deck. Servant of the Scale enters with +1/+1 counter on it. When it dies, move counters. Okay. Tell me you have a way to like sacrifice it so that, you know, I die this turn. Okay. Micaeus, yep. Oh yeah, you're doing it. Let's try to draw River's Rebuke. At least give it our best shot. We go to 2. We tick. All right. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's give ourselves 2 more draws at River's Rebuke. Cool. Our opponent is laughing all the way to the mofo bank on this one. Absolutely farmed. My god. All right, we're on the play and we might have an Ulamog. Come on out. We're up against elves, so they usually don't have very many ways to remove something like this, and they didn't have a turn 1 Llanowar elf, which is a miracle. All right, let's keep this coming. I like where this is headed. We found a ramp source. We've got this land. We could have frogified this, which is what I was going to do, but ramping's way better in this deck. Rishka. All right, the elf stuff is happening. Do we frogify the Rishkar? I think we just hold up the Swindle. They're gonna do something. They'll definitely do something, and if we swindle them, we get Ulamog. Ulamog's hard to beat. Ta-da! Treasures. That is what you are. Opponent proud of their Steel Leaf champion, perhaps? Let me tell you what can block a Steel Leaf champion. An Ulamog. Transform. Mog it up. I think these can go. Didn't even have to really go after the Steel Leaf champion. Let's go ahead and frogify you. Okay. And that was how Ulamog won the game. Ghalta. Opponent goes first. We have the key. But I don't know what our turn 3 is. Maybe just cycling a Shark Typhoon. I mean, this is what the deck is. We're also kind of likely to miss a land drop, which is terrifying. And once we flip, we don't have a play that really takes over the game. Maybe we discard this commit and then we play the Gear Hulk and we commit Ghalta. I guess that's a strategy. It does depend how quickly they get their Ghalta online, doesn't it? Fine, fine. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. We also might end up getting the, depending on if we draw into enough land or ramp, we might end up getting the Shark Typhoon under the Inspector. Turn 1 elf, always. We've got to consider to try to smooth out this clunker of a draw. They have a tap land on 2 and a Greeters. Just all ramp all the time, huh? We'll take a land. Even if it's a tap land, even if it's kind of out of position. The Ornithopter of Paradise is a good play for next turn. They have Planeswalker. Didn't see that coming. But it doesn't have a fight option. So it can't kill our little Inspector bro. Ooh, please draw an untapped land. Denied. Untapped land there would mean that we could do some pretty cool stuff as far as like play Signet and play Ornithopter of Paradise this turn, which would ramp us into a turn 4 flip. But we're gonna miss on untapped land because I had to put this stupid Island Gate in my deck. I guess that's what I get. The greed. Is it the only tapped land in my deck? I think it is. All of Storm Giants would have been tapped there, but you get the gist why I'm just like, oh, come on, Shuffler. Come on, Arena. Why are you doing me like this? We'll take that hit. That is an untapped land. Thank you. Better late than never. Give him the business. For all his expertise. Bounce, bounce, bounce. And Key to the Archive coming in hot. What a turn. Demonic Tutor seems like a good card. So does D-Spark. D-Spark on the Garrick solves a big problem. Guess I will let this Signet go. Could have also put the commit in the graveyard and then just flash it back with the Gear Hulk and had an even better Gear Hulk. Could have also put the D-Spark in the graveyard for the Gear Hulk. Still, unless you're absolutely sure you need to Gear Hulk, we can drag it out and get more value from the card itself. Look at him go. Look at him go. Is it Ghalta time? Nope, not yet. Alright guys, it looks like we're setting up a Shark Typhoon. Lovers of the Shark Typhoon, rejoice. But what else? What is another card we'd prefer to play for free? I guess it's the Gear Hulk. Although I don't want this... Alright, I'm going to choose the Clock just because I don't want this exiled if they do remove the enchantment. It's not like green has no way to do that. Let's hold up the key so we can despark. Get out, Garrick. And I has Shark. All right. That wasn't even my final form, but if you want to leave, okay. Dude, Historic Brawl is so sweet. The epic battles for supremacy. The ultimate alpha status at stake. Omnath, Locus of Creation. Where do you see this card? You don't see this card anywhere anymore. Let alone, when's the last time you saw a legitimate business Omnath? Hopefully you'll see it this game. At least it's a big part of my plan. Do you see the way it draws cards if you're holding a card? I kind of want to do that more. All right, it might be a legitimate business snake. This card is a lot of ramp. It's not every day you get a chance to just take it out. Karn doesn't look like it matters in this matchup, so we'll exile you. Then I'm going to brainstorm, see if we can hit a mana rock. We do hit a mana rock. That's cool. Field of Ruin, you're definitely not that good. Faceless Haven, you're a little slow. So we'll put them in this order. Drop this. Drop this. See what that Cobra can do. But we're threatening... No, we're not threatening Invoke. We have too many colorless sources. Maybe Invoke is the card that goes under Jacob next. Our opponent is keeping it cultivated. Yeah, next turn we probably legitimate business the Snake and commit the Omnath. And then we untap Jacob Hauken, Boon of the Wishgiver. They play Gretchen. Gretchen, what you doing? 0-4, 2 and a Simic. Put a land from your hand onto the battlefield and draw a card. Okay. Okay, Gretchen, I see you. All right, we're going to stick to the plan. Protect that snake. Hold this up. We'll make the decision at instant speed. Pass the turn. Nissa. We could commit this Nissa. We could also gain control of it, but I don't have any forests. I think it's way better to commit it. We know what we're drawing, so it's not a big deal. Not a secret. But, yeah, let's commit the Nissa. Alright, there's another island. Set away the boon. Flip. Have myself a sweet little draw for. Oh, look at those cards. Look at the powerful cards in this hand. Our opponent is a Rune Crabber. Here's the thing about Historic Brawl, guys. A lot of you keep running Rune Crab against me in your landfall decks, and, you know, if you want to do that, that's fine. Historic Brawl, it's got 100 cards in the deck. Maybe that'll be one of my competitive Historic Brawl challenges someday, to actually mill somebody, but my god. It's not what you'd call a realistic endeavor. An opponent's gonna go for it, but we've even got memory right here to reshuffle, so I guess you just, if you enjoy your mill triggers a lot, why not, right? So, ooh, Mystic Sanctuary? What's down there? Discover the Formula's down there. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Also got a key to the archive for free. May I has time warp? I may. Magic is easy. Okay then. I'm gonna get rid of my Field of Ruin since they seem to like landfall. We're gonna time warp ourselves. We're gonna Mystic Sanctuary. We're gonna time warp ourselves. Thank you, Rune Crab. Yo, it's Jodah. All right, we washed Jodah away. This will be probably easy mode. We're gonna test their metal. Wash away is such a busto card. Just keep a hand if it has it. Pretty simple. They've got Once Upon a Time or something? Mox Amber. Well, Mox Amber's probably what they have. All right, Inspector. Help me find my way. Solve the crime. Who done it? Was it Jodah? No, it can't be Jodah. Jodah's a Unifier. I think I actually play the Field of Ruin here. I might use it. Give them the basics test. Especially if they're going to keep doing nothing. Okay. Which dual land is probably most important to them? I mean, this one has types, so let's go after the thing with types. Maybe it'll keep something from entering the battlefield untapped. Might also just fix their mana if they, you know, need blue. But hey, we're learning here. Growth Spiral. See? They're like, gotcha. Gotcha, cHB. I knew, I planned, and they have another red-white land. My choices couldn't be worse, could they? That's fine. That's fine. We can do this. I can do this all day. I'm Captain America. We'll take land. We do need to hit enough land to flip. Okay. I know I said I'd take land, but that's enough. That's enough. Just want one more, and then I want endless spells. Why is this so hard? Sure. Kethis, the hidden hand. Legendaries cost less. You can play legendaries from graveyards and stuff. Can they replay it? They can't. Alright. Pick it back up. And one of those lands can go. Can also Tempted by the Orc, that sucker, at some point, but this turn, I think we're messing with their turn. Ooh. Each opponent can't cast non-creature spells with mana value greater than the number of lands that player controls. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent, counter it. It's like the whole point of my deck. How dare you? You work for me now. It's not a unilateral effect. It's only for opponents. Yeah. You don't like it. You don't like that, do you? Because they can't cast their spells that they get with the Cascade on Jodah. They can't cascade into a Lavinia, can they? No, they cannot. Heliod. Definitely still one of the most popular commanders. Freaking life gain players, man. They love their life gains. They must gains the life. Healer's Hawk. Definitely wants the bane of my existence. We'll just take this and make sure we hit land. Our hand looks like it's going to do exactly what we want it to do. We're going to put it on our opponent to figure out how to stop us. Captain Eberhardt. This little guy makes the cards I draw cost one more to cast. Let me show you. Fine. I mean, I'm not blocking, so. Look at that. One more to cast. Sure would be nice to play it this turn. Can't do it. How about them apples, huh? All right. However, I can play this land, and we can play it on the opponent's turn if we want to, which I think is a good idea, and I think I want to do it. I think I want to do it before they draw so they don't get cost reduction. Because it reduces the cost of spells they draw. I know that they're very likely this turn to play Heliod, but I still think that's the way. Here's Heliod. No, not the -1/2. Anything but that. They don't want to lose that double strike value. Oh, okay, they went to the Hawk. They did give up on the Captain. They gave up on you, dude. All right, so this can't actually enchant. That sucks. It can't actually hit the Heliod until it becomes a creature. So let's see if the opponent wants to make it a creature this turn. We could also just play Key and threaten to flip next turn. I guess that's better. We can take one bump, right? Right. Day of Judgment seems like a good way to persevere. Should our opponent do anything mean to our Inspector, that would prevent us from dropping Jin-Gitaxias on them. Ranger, Captain of Eos. Gross. I wonder if they plan to use that to keep me from casting the Day of Judgment. So you can sacrifice this. Opponents can't cast non-creature spells this turn. What do you mean? It doesn't stop me from casting Jin-Gitaxias. And they have Esper Sentinel. Okay. Feels like a good card against blue. And look at their board. They are doing it. They didn't attack with Heliod, though. Sus. Like, what are they worried about? Frogify is pretty good. Completion's pretty good. Everything's pretty good. Gonna let the Lotus go. Maybe not, though. If I play that, I can also play Day and pay. Okay, maybe not. Maybe it's the completion. It's a bit expensive. Counter on the Sentinel, sure. They're gonna sacrifice? They put me on full control. You gonna do the thing or what? Okay. I guess what they're waiting for is me to tap this. I will tap it. The Rebuke. I'll exile that and see if the opponent lets me play it for free. They will. You know, they're sitting on that Ranger Captain. You know they probably should use it. But they're gambling. They're a gambler. So we can rebuke them or we can Jin them. I'm going to rebuke them. Let them have a card and all. Should have used the Ranger. Yep. Sissay. Ugh. Paradox Engine deck usually. And a 1-card Paradox Engine combo where basically if you untap with Sissay and you have the mana, which is just like 5 mana, you do the thing. So let's keep. We do have 2 ways to turn Sissay into not a threat. We do have the Whirler Rogue, who hasn't really shined today, but we also haven't been under a lot of aggressive pressure when we've had her. And that is what she's best at. All right, Mox Amber on turn 1. Usually in that deck, you hold the Mox Amber to start your Paradox turn. So maybe they're a different deck. This Legendary Tribal. Not a lot of reason not to put the engine in. And then we see Mind Stone. And it's like, yeah, you gotta be the engine version, don't you? You really do. Karn? Awesome. Just awesome. Also, they could just play white, play Sissay here. We take away Sissay's abilities. Nope, it's another artifact. I'm not mad. I am not mad. They might be. Let's show you why Karn's in the deck. Boom, +1, turn it into a 0/0 creature. Now their artifacts don't tap for anything. Well, you degenerate Paradox Engine playing scum? What are you gonna do now? Here's Cap'n. Thinking maybe they can fetch something to help? We'll see. This is not a Whirler Rogue matchup. We can let it go. Let it go. Let it go. The Immortal Sun, no thank you. Karn's doing just fine. All right. You are a fish. And that was it. The last straw. I will not be a fish. And we are back for the post-game wrap, checking in on the stats from MTG Assistant on Jacob Hauken for Historic Brawl. I did all my dailies with the deck. You can see the 15 wins, and we picked up 4 losses. So it was a nice, quick dailies accumulation. How many of you do your dailies? And tell me honest, are you the same people whining about the economy? Are ya? Are ya? Who has time to do my dailies, they say. Well, I can tell you, it didn't take me very long, and it felt like it went by in a flash playing Jacob Hauken in Historic Brawl. It is a very fun deck, and a very cool way, in my opinion, to do dailies is a singleton format like Historic Brawl without a lot of stakes, because people scoop early. But we don't need to talk about that too much. So we played against Jodah 6 times and we crushed it. Jodah's kind of a buy because you turn them into a frog and they leave. And other matchups that are interesting but good, like Niv-Mizzet is a lot better than you would expect it to be. Elves, Goblins, they don't really interact with you. Had some trouble with Heliod, mono white, surprisingly, but they had kind of the exile effects in the right places. A Tasha deck gave me an absolute whooping. But I would say that Jacob is a very good deck for doing your dailies. Not Hell Q. People do play badly against you sometimes, or they play tentatively, might be the better way to put it, because you're a blue deck, but we don't run that much counter magic, and we can't stop opponents who are truly high rolling us most of the time. We're just trying to get to our overwhelming big play, and if they don't interfere with it, then yes, it can win the game. So I would say this is not Hell Q. This is probably a high B tier, low A tier kind of deck that can definitely do its thing, and it's a really good deck for the, how do I put this? The toilet gamer who loves blue. And what I mean is you can play this deck from the toilet, just, you know, keep activating Jacob till you flip, and sometimes you drop an Ulamog and it's very fun, and you go off and you do all kinds of nuts things, maybe you get an Omniscience. But other times, like, it doesn't require an insane amount of, like, timing, brain power. It's a kind of a very fun, big blue, almost ramp, Timmy blue style deck. So if that's your jam, you should play it. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for indulging me in the Historic Brawl content. It means a lot to me. It's a lot of fun for me. And for those of you who actually stayed till the end and watched those videos, you are doing the best thing you can possibly do to support the video. So thank you very much. Also, if you've come this far and you want to support further, here's some cool free things you can do. You can comment, you can like the video, you can turn on notifications, and you can subscribe to the channel. If you got a few bucks in the bank account and everything else is taken care of in your life and you're doing good and you want to say thank you for the content in another way, you can join by hitting the red button and becoming a YouTube member, or you can go to patreon.com, the link in the description, and check out the reward tiers there, including signed cHB tokens for you mega fans. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. You are cool.